This is activity 3, Seagulls Eat What? And this is from lesson 11, Interpreting Graphs of Proportional Relationships. In this activity, they give you some information about seagulls that eat garbage, and they tell you that it's a proportional relationship, and that means that this relationship can be represented on a graph as a straight line, and that straight line goes through the origin, 0, 0. So whatever line I draw on this graph, it's going to go through 0, 0, and it's going to show you a relationship between the number of seagulls. And so the two properties in this scenario or in this story are seagulls and pounds of garbage. And so what is the relationship between the seagulls and the pounds of garbage? Well, it is that constant of proportionality. It's the amount of garbage that, in this case, 4 seagulls eat. And then you simplify that, take a look at what's the amount of garbage that 1 seagull eats. And that's going to be the constant of proportionality when it's at 1 seagull. So that's the unit rate. And a seagull in this case is 1 unit. So you go out to 1, and where do you end up going to the pounds of garbage that 1 seagull eats? Well, you get that number from looking at the pounds of garbage for 4 seagulls. And so if 4 seagulls eat 10 pounds of garbage, then that means that 2 seagulls will eat 5 pounds of garbage, and that means that 1 seagull will eat 2.5 pounds of garbage. And you can see that in the graph. You go to 1 seagull, and you go up to 2.5 pounds of garbage. 1 more seagull, another 2.5 pounds of garbage. 1 more seagull, another 2.5 pounds of garbage, and finally 1 last seagull of the 4, and that's a final 2.5 pounds of garbage. So it is 2.5 pounds of garbage per 1 seagull. So that is the unit rate once again, and the unit in this case is that 1 seagull. So if you go over to 4, start at 0, go over to 4 seagulls, and then how much garbage does 4 seagulls eat? It tells you in the story they eat 10 pounds, and that's also where the graph goes through. So you go up to 10 and you read over to the y-axis, and that shows you that reading for 4 seagulls is 10 pounds of garbage that those 4 seagulls ate. So K, the constant of proportionality, is 2.5. It's 2.5 pounds of garbage per 1 seagull. So if you go to 1, it's going to go up to 2.5 to reach this line that it shows you the proportional relationship. So when X is 1 unit, Y is 2.5 pounds of garbage. So the constant of proportionality is that 2.5. That's the unit rate. Once again, that tells you how much per seagull. And so the constant of proportionality connects the pounds of garbage to the seagulls. It is 2.5 pounds of garbage per 1 seagull. There has to be a connection between the two properties if it's a proportional relationship. So there has to be a connection, a relationship, and that relationship is, in this case, a proportional relationship.